Leadership, thank you, Candy. Leadership is literally influence, as Dr. John Maxwell says, nothing more and nothing less. And Mary Kay Astor Woman, of course, had trained me early in the years. I was in my 20s when I started Mary Kay, and I was impressed with her, sort of, almost in awe. But I remember her saying one thing that made a difference. And she said, help enough other people get what they want, and you get what you want. And that's exactly what leadership is. That's your first lesson. It is not about you. I have to remind my daughter, although she does great in Mary Kay. However, people, as Dr. A.R. Bernard, many of you know who he is in New York, always says, people are always going to be the problem because we work with people, but they are also the answer to the problem. And Mary Kay said it best when she said that it is, if you are a leader, you may be a consultant with a red jacket, now you have a small group, or as a director, it is not your consultant's job to get along with you. It is your job to get along with them. And that's why people can be the problem. We are all different. So when talking about leadership, you have to realize that you may not have the same personality as people that come into your group. It does not matter. You can inspire and lead them, because Mary Kay also said that the best 3 ways to lead is by example, and by example, and by example. All right. So when you lead by example, it doesn't matter what the personality of the people are, you will be successful. Now we're going to keep it real today. And so I started out with the real are, number 1, if you're going to be a leader, you must always be reminded. So remember what you did to get where you are. That's the R for real. Remember that. And then remember that it still works. Oftentimes we get to a position and we start doing other things, like being impressive or thinking that we don't have to hold our appointments anymore. Okay, do what you did to get where you are, and you will always be successful. And our business is book, coach, sell, and recruit, in that order. I know that we're in a different environment now. The world is a different place, but this business is the same in that you are helping people. We inspire people, and I will close with an acronym that I have for inspire that I think is great. But when you're doing the business the way it should be done, okay, you will move people along because they will follow you. All right. So remember what it is, why you started this business. And I will share this that I learned over the years. One lesson that helped me is that the reason you became part of Mary Kay and the reason you stay might be different. I'm sure that Vernella, Candy, and Sonia can share that can attest to that. Sometimes you sign for different reasons. And I know you all know the story when you've read it in the online, that I signed because I saw a lady win jewelry. When I was young, and jewelry was something I wanted. And very seldom now, Brandon said, put on a ring. I have on jewelry, that's enough. And National Candy got this for me, and I love it. So, but I'm not big into rings anymore. However, that time I wanted lots of rings and I wanted jewelry. But I didn't stay for that reason. There were a bazillion other reasons. So it's going to change. Enthusiasm, that's the E in real. Enthusiasm is always going to keep you going. And even when you don't feel like it, be enthusiastic. I know you hear that all the time, but it's true. So you cannot say that you're not going to have a great day, because you make the choice. Life is a choice, and leadership is a choice. Your people do not want to hear about your problems. I don't care what they are, okay? When you are acting enthusiastic, you will become enthusiastic. That may be a simple little word, but that's positive energy, because they can see. Many of my people actually saw the life that I went through, the things that I experienced and all that. And sometimes they would think, man, how are you keeping going? That's because I have a goal in mind, something that I want more than I want to let life happenings hold me down. Remember, we are women of God most of the time. And if you are, we talk about the joy of the Lord is our strength. Well, joy comes from inside. Happiness comes from happening. So what happens doesn't control what happens or how I feel. So your enthusiasm will keep you going, and you work to make that happen. We'll talk about that later. And then the A in real, keeping it real, always be in control of you. That is the greatest challenge for any individual, all right? Because remember, the only challenge you have in life is you. The only problem you have, you want to call it a problem. If you can handle you, it'd be great. And that may sound really crazy, but one of the things that I learned about mastering me is that is why I would not give up, because I knew after learning and watching the people in Mary Kay and what was required that I could do it. But my challenge always was, why am I not doing it? And I had to work on Bettye Bridges. That was my greatest challenge, and she still is to this day. But you have to make it a point to keep you in check. Emotional management, you've learned a lot about it. You hear it all the time, I know. But keep in mind that attitude is really everything. It's 100%, guys. And I can prove it by the numbers if you need it. But one of the things that Mary Kay always talked about, excuse me, is that knowledge is knowing what to do. Wisdom is doing it. Okay, so when you're thinking about controlling your emotions, when many consultants and directors I have seen know what to do, and they talk about a goal and talk about a goal and talk about it, but it's not happening. That means you have to look in the mirror and talk to the boss. And when you look in the mirror and talk to the boss, most of the time, if she is willing to work with you, you can get anything you want to get done. Okay, Mary Kay always made it a part of, excuse me, you know, plan your work and work your plan. It's the most amazing thing that we can make a plan and then forget about it. We can make a plan and let people move us off course because family and friends might do that. When I became a consultant early in my career, I remember I was single. First of all, let me say I went through a divorce in the early years of Mary Kay. And during those single years, of course, you want to date and you want to meet guys. And this is for the women directors or consultants who are single and you want to have a date life, okay? And I remember so well when I had learned my second time around, National Candidate mentioned that I became a director in 1978. Well, I did. I lost the unit in 1981. The divorce and all the life things happened. I requalified in 87. And after requalifying, all the things that I learned to do those first 10 years that I didn't do, I did them the second time around, which is why I got the Cadillac and National. But one of the major things was when I made my weekly plan sheet, if something wasn't on the plan sheet, it didn't get done because I told the family, at that time I had Brandy, I didn't have my son yet, and I would put down the weekly things. And when you schedule that time, if they're not on the sheet, it doesn't get done. I started dating my now husband, Gerald, that Candy mentioned, during that time. And we, you know how that is. On the very day that you want to get something done, he would always call. During that time, Luther Vandross was just the thing. And I'm a basketball fanatic. And so one night he called and he had tickets to see Luther Vandross. It was Tuesday night, my sales meeting night. And I had to say, I'm not going. I can't go. He was surprised, you know, but he didn't ask me in advance. And I had to turn him down. Of course, I was like, oh my God, but you know, it was important. I then was focused on my business. Then, of course, he had the nerve to have tickets to the Pistons basketball game and they were playing the Celtics. I'm a baller, okay? And I was just, and I said, I cannot go. However, number one, you see, he didn't go anywhere because I married him, but also the most important thing, he respected my business. And so finally, once I heard him at home talking to his buddies and they were planning something, you know, and they were going to have all the friends, girlfriends, or wives come. And he said, oh man, don't do it on Tuesday because Bettye can't do it on Tuesday. And that's the key. You plan your work and let people that you love around you work into your schedule.
Hello.
So keep it in mind. Always make sure that when you plan that work, you work the plan you have, okay? You'd be surprised what will make a difference for you. And the last one is love your people. And I want you to know, as I said earlier, talking about what Mary Kay said about the people that come into unit, they're not going to be like you all the time. That is why I am so big on the personality styles. I had to learn myself first off, which was a great challenge as well. And I know you said she had a lot of challenges. Yes, I did. But I was determined to do what I believe was possible. And we all do. Everyone, there's no best personality style. When I first became part of Mary Kay and I did that personality style profile, I was in a group class where there was all directors. I was a brand new director, excited, going to move the world and change and do everything. And when that man told me that I was a high I with D tendencies and all the other things, I said that I'm not like that. We don't see ourselves. And I said, how does he? Now I'm thinking in my mind, how does he know me like that? Number one, but I denied that I was like that. My I was off the top of the chart. If you know, you have a graph, and my S and C, well, S was low, that C was off the bottom chart. I was just a mess. However, I learned to handle me. So when you talk about loving people, understand they're not going to be like you, but you learn to accept them for how they are. Okay. One thing I will tell you that I know that makes a difference for leaders. And in this business, even though we are a business that has a heart and we look at loving our people, when you have enough numbers, red jackets or directors, you can love your people. When you have, like you want to be a red jacket, you want to stay red, and you only have 3, it's not going to happen. You got to get 5, 7, or 9. They may not be all active because numbers don't lie. People might. They might. Sometimes we have to realize we can say what we want about it. We're human. So numbers won't lie. And you will talk about numbers. I'm sure Vernella is the numbers queen. So I'm sure she'll go into detail on numbers, okay? But numbers don't lie. You can love your people even more, particularly our directors, when you have more numbers in your unit. You're never to get angry with the unit, but it might happen when you want to have a certain goal and it didn't because the numbers weren't there. And if you will have a question and answer, if you want me to answer on that, I will. Also, excuse me, you all know $1 million sales director, Terry Lewis. I know. You all know her from LOC. And Terry took a long time for me to get her to understand that those numbers don't lie. Because she's always been a great worker with the business. She's very consistent. But when she learned to work those numbers, she got that first Cadillac, and now she works to the hilt because she's $1 million director. So keep that in mind. Keep your business real. Remember what you did it for and why you're here. Keep enthusiasm and positive energy as your focus. Always be in control of your emotions. Don't let people make you act a different way. I taught my children, this is off the key, but a little bit, they're talkers. My husband and I both are in sales, so they can't help but talk. I just told the teachers they talk, but they know when to respect you. And I told them if they didn't talk, I'd be worried because they're mine. But the key is that there's a time and place for everything. So keep that in mind. And remember, when you're control of your personal self, you can do anything because you can make things happen. Zig Ziglar, one of my favorite sales trainers, said, if you got a problem with you, get excited. You can change you. You just can't change anybody else. And we women have a problem with that. But we'll talk about that another day too as well, okay? Also, one of the things that John Maxwell talks about a lot that I've always used, he talks about leadership is influence. We talked about that. And being an influencer, first off, you remember, people do what they see you do, not what you say. That is so powerful, and it's a learning process. I work with a nonprofit also, and one of the things I lead up is she calls it the family support, but it's really parenting, because even though we all don't have a right experience, we've learned being a little bit younger than most of you guys. And you can tell your children anything all you want to. They do what they see you do. Well, your consultants and your people on your team are watching you. Mary Kay also said back in the day when we first started, that when you have a new consultant, that's the best thing for a new consultant. Because it's like when you're driving a car. When you're driving a car and the police car is behind you, your new consultant's like a police car. And she's watching you. You hold the wheel a certain way like you're supposed to, 10 and whatever they call 2. You stop at the stop sign rather than slowing down. You know what I mean? When the police car is behind you. So when you have team members watching you, they follow your lead. And then you might wonder why they're acting like they act, okay? So remember, it's influence. The next thing, leadership is continuous learning and growing. And when years ago, and I know the Lord blessed me with this business, and I know he kept me and literally sort of edged me on as I was willing to learn and accept. But I was, when I moved to Detroit, I started in Chicago. I moved to Detroit. My sister worked at a hospital here, one of the largest hospitals. And I would go and visit her every, like 3-4 times a week. And I would warm chatter. Lenny taught me how to warm chatter into the hospital and out to the hospital and get my leads. That's how I built my business. And we would go to different restaurants. She still to this day loves to eat out. And so there was a restaurant that had writings, how many all around the wall. And I saw these words that said, knowledge is a poor man's wealth. And you know how when I saw it, I know the Lord had me see it because it sort of caught my eye, but I didn't, right then. But, I remember things easily. So it kept coming back in my spirit. I'm like, what in the world? And I know now what God was doing, because see, I was learning everything to do, but I wasn't doing it. We have educated derelicts, people who have degrees and they're not using them because So just knowing what to do is not important. It's doing what you know, and that's the wisdom of this business. So when you're learning and growing, really remember that leadership is a journey, it's not a destination. So you are a process, step by step. You will get there, but you have to continue to grow and work and change is not easy, I know. Okay. Also, trust. Your people have to trust you, and they trust you by your competence and your character. As you are leading a group, even as you're starting out with Red Jackets right now, your personal team, if you're constantly bringing on people and they don't see you working the business, then they don't see you as being competent, number one, or a woman of your word, because you brought them in telling them the business will work this way. Okay. Now, if you're a personal use consultant and you want to be a Red Jacket, that's fine. You have to have 5 or 10 personal use people because they're going to order regularly, but that's okay. It's your choice. The key is that make the choice, make the decision, and then follow your decision. That's most important. I know, Candy, if you don't mind, when the time comes, give me a 5-minute. I know my time will go, okay? And the last thing is leaders develop other people. That was really one of the best things that I think helped me in that early in my career. For many, many years, it's sad to say this, but I'll be transparent, let you guys know. The company didn't have a rule that you had to have a pink Cadillac to be a national. All I wanted to do was be national because I was exposed to national sales director, the very first national of color, Ruel Cohn. That was Lenny Lewis's national, her senior director in national. And she came to Chicago when I was there as a new consultant, brand new. And man, oh man, just seeing her and seeing that suit and how she carried herself, I wanted to be a national. So I didn't even care what else happened, but I knew that I had to develop people. The teacher in me, I know how to teach, but I had to learn how to let people do once you teach them how. It's like when you teach a child to ride a bike, you got to let them go at some point so that they can stand up on their own. And I was a smother mother, Mary Kay, for a while as well. The key to when you're developing others, you teach them and then you allow them to go, and you teach them and you allow them to go. Many directors I know still hold back on their people sometimes because they are fearful of allowing things to happen. I don't know where that came from, but just charge it to the Lord, okay? But when you're developing others, remember, you have to invest time in developing yourself in order to develop them. Mary Kay's mantra, and the national sales director here in Detroit area, I believe it was Don Sweeney when she said this, but you have to stay plugged into the Mary Kay events. That develops you. Career conference, seminar, okay? Then you have fall retreats. Mary Kay set this up, and then leadership as directors. I always told my directors, leadership is like your Mary Kay sales meeting. And you know how you feel when your consultants don't come to sales meeting, okay? That's how corporate feels when you don't come to leadership. That means it's not important to you. So when you have those 4 things, and Mary Kay was the wisdom behind this company, so you can think of her ideas. Those things are set and developed, placed where they will help you and your people. Number one, leadership starts us off in the new year, because when the new year comes in, things happen. You know, we've been through the Christmas holidays, but leadership, and then by the time you've gotten excited, those 2 months are gone, career conference comes around, so you can get another shot in the arm. And by the time career conference, then we at the end of this year in this seminar, and you all excited, and sometimes you didn't meet your goal. So now comes up the fall retreats right in time around October to get you fired up again. It'll last you to Christmas, but Christmas, mid-December, you go off and go on vacation. You in retail, there's no such thing as a vacation, but we do it. So here comes leadership again to get you started over, okay? So those things, when you're developing others, keep yourself in line as directors, as Red Jackets too, because the people are following you. I know I'm almost 5 minutes down, so I'm gonna close out with my inspire. Remember, leadership is influence and leaders inspire. So the acronym for inspire, number 1, be intentional for what you want. Set a goal and then move forward on that goal. Don't just talk about it, okay? Never stop dreaming, the end, NSD, I love that, because never stop dreaming. If you have a goal, it is possible if you believe. I stand on the word of God as my guide, and he says all things are possible if thou canst believe, okay? S, stay focused on your reason. Like I said, why you started this, okay? P, P-U-S-H, push. It means pray until something happens. Okay, when you are praying, you don't stay on your knees, you get up and go to work. So while you're praying, remember, get up and do something. And then I, again, insist on excellence from you. Be your best self. Always put your best foot forward. Let your people see you in your best, doing your best. We always look the part. Although I will say a little bit of a challenging thing that I have now, I've noticed since I've been retired, y'all don't really have uniforms anymore. I've written corporate about that. I don't dislike the idea of a jacket, okay? That's red jackets. Directors need suits, but that's a whole nother talk show, okay? I'll leave that alone. And then the next R, reach for the stars. I hadn't talked about star consulting, but as sales directors, I think this is probably more red jackets than sales directors, but star consulting is the only way for you to be successful in this business. If you're not consistently there and keeping your product going, it's going to be difficult. And remember, we have the star consultant program that is 3 months in a row because of National Sales Director Ruel Cohn. So as an honor to her, become a star. By the way, Sonia was from the Ruel Cohn area, so she knows that, all right? And the last thing, the E for inspire, enjoy the journey. Have fun in your business. Let your people see you enjoying this. Don't ever, remember the old saying you've heard, never let them see you sweat? I know for a fact that naturally we're human, we get tired. Sometimes you go like, if I do another sales meeting with 5 people on the Zoom, I'm gonna scream. Directors, I know you're on here, you've said you thought that, okay? But when you hit that, that screen, you gotta be ready to go. Mary Kay used to say years ago, we're in show business, okay? And think about when you're in show business, you're glammed up and ready to go. So no matter how you feel, be enthusiastic, act enthusiastic, know that anything you want is possible. When you help enough people get what they want as a leader, what you will want is in the bag all the time. Thank you so much, National Candy. I love you all. And I pray that was helpful to somebody.
Oh my goodness, it was. But please, Bettye, if you can please share, how did National Ruel, start that star program?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, back in the day, I know you all have heard, we used to have golden goblets. It's an old long time ago. When I retired, I've been in 39 years. And the Golden Goblet, when they started it, it became the Star Consultant Program, but it was for the order to be done all in 1 month. And it was $1,000 for the Golden Goblet. And Ruel was at that point, a top director, really, and she was getting ready to break the company's record. They didn't know yet, set a record. But she went to corporate and she said, listen, she said, my people cannot get $1,000 loan back in that time, at one time. She said, but if you will give us 3 months to do it in a quarter, she said, I'll have more star consultants than anybody. Well, she was a top director. She hadn't been #1 yet, but she was a top director. And literally they said, okay, fine. So they made it the star consultant program and made it, at that time, it first started out with 4, 4, and 4 for 1,200. Now it's 18, 6, 6, and 6. But with that, when she did that, corporate said yes, they agreed to it. And man, oh man, that is history, but I'm telling you, we know. So that was one of the things that I always honored her in working to have star consultants. And then National Sonia, if I may share this, since she took it a step further and developed 3663. Sonia, I remember that, I still teach it, okay? Wow. And for the star consultant, the consultant on the line now, and for directors, because right now the quarter has ended. Well, we're in a new month, but yesterday, if people have put in $300, okay, then they have 6 and 6 the other 2 months, and 3 the 4th month. You're a star every quarter, and then you can you can add it up and make it to ruby, sapphire, diamond, however you want to. But I live by that. Ruel was just my mentor. She didn't know it till many years later, but she was. Thank you, National Candy. I appreciate that.
Oh my goodness. And I didn't know, we all heard about the 3663. I didn't know that came from National Sonia either.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I always made notes of what I learned and where from, and then kept it because I taught it for years. But that was a Sonia Mason original, right, National?
That's correct. That's correct. I never knew that. I never knew that.
I'm glad. I always like to give credit where credit is due. You know where it comes from.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow.
Thank you.
Yes.
I love you.
At times I feel low, yet still
Yes. Oh my goodness, Bettye, that was awesome. I loved it all. I mean, I love the real I mean,
Thank
I
you.
love when you even said knowledge is a poor man's wealth. That was huge to me, just to understand the importance of just know
Application.
that we have so much wealth that we don't use. So
Yes.
that's really exciting. Wow. Thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness, guys. So we are gonna hear from our next speaker. Get excited, get excited, get
Yes, yes,
excited.
yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh my goodness, guys. When I tell you about this speaker here, I always like to always share my relationship with the people that I have. And one of the things I can really say is, when I was going for the million, I was going for the million and people didn't think that I could because I needed so much. I called up this amazing, incredible national sales director and she said, that's it. That's all you need, Candy. And I'm like, yeah. And the rest is history. But I would like to share some of her amazing accolades now. Her accolades, guys, when I tell you, I'm not going to read all of them because she's done such incredible, huge things here at Mary Kay. National Sales Director Emeritus Vernella Benjamin joined Mary Kay in November of 1989. She became a sales director of May of 1991. She was the #1 sales director in her debuting class. Also, she has done several unit clubs, but in seminar 1995, she did 900,000 Circle of Excellence. In
Mm.
seminar 1996, she became the first director in the state of New York to accomplish the $1 million Circle of Excellence. In seminar 1997, she became the #1 director of the Sapphire Division in 1,250,000 Circle of Excellence. In November of 1997, she was Miss Go-Get.
Ooh.
Also, in seminar 1998,
Mm.
the #1 director of the Sapphire Division for the second year in the $1,500,000 Circle of Excellence. In seminar 1999, she was the #1 director of the Sapphire Division for the third consecutive year with the $1,800,000 Circle of Excellence. In seminar 2000, she was the #1 director of the Sapphire Division for the fourth consecutive year in the $1,850,000 Circle of Excellence. In seminar 2001, she was the #1 director of the Sapphire Division for the fifth consecutive year and #1 nationwide in the whole entire world of Mary Kay in the 2,300,000 Circle of Excellence. Yes.
Yes.
In seminar 2002, she was the #1 director of the Sapphire Division for the sixth consecutive year.
Mm.
The #1 director nationwide for the second year in a row in all of Mary Kay with $1,800,000 Circle of Excellence.
Wow.
National Vernella is the first Black woman to achieve $2 million in unit sales in 1 year and the first woman in history of the company to reach the $2.3 million in unit sales. Get excited. She has been the #1 director in the entire state of New York for 8 consecutive years. She has traveled the world, guys. I have been on several of those amazing trips with her. My first trip was to Austria, and I'm so excited that she invited me in and we had an amazing time. She is a member of the Millionaires Club with commissions over $3 million, guys. And I'm here to tell you that when we did over $100,000 in unit sales in 1 month, we only got $5,000 for that. I hope y'all know that. Okay, because I remember in 2004 when I did over 120,000 wholesale, I only got $5,000 because it was a cap. It was a cap back then.
Isn't that
It
amazing?
wasn't 23% of everything. It was a cap at $5,000. Even if you did $100,000, it was capped at $5,000. But her highest commission has been in excess of $39,000, guys. When I tell you she's incredible, she's amazing. She knows numbers from the top of her head, she can remember things that she has done all over through. I'm like, how can you remember all of that? But I'm so excited to call her friend. I'm so excited to call her a mentor. I'm so excited to know her and her amazing husband, Ashford Carrington, which we really believe that her husband and my husband somewhere related somewhere together into big. Okay, but without further ado, I would love to play her national song as well before you hear from that #1, record breaker herself, National Vernella Benjamin.
revelation. Oh, this will be war and frustration. Oh, this will be a revelation. Oh, this will be war and frustration. Talk about the problem, brothers. Don't you be afraid, Lord. Talk about the system, sisters. Don't you be so scared now. They will try to hurt you. They will tell lies on you, hoping to take you down, hoping to mash you down. But he who wear the glorious crown to separate the darkness from the light. It is he who created all things. He will end it just all in one night. I said, oh, this will be a revelation. Oh, this will be war and frustration. Oh Lord, oh, this will be a revelation. Oh, this will be war and frustration. Color is not the problem. It is the heart and mind of men. Money is not the problem. It is a greed and selfishness. Oh, it's a spiritual war. Oh, it's a mental war. Lord, come down and help us now, cause our people have gone astray. Oh, they have been misled. Oh, they have
Yes, it's a revelation. Woo, woo.
Yes. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Wow. Candy Lewis, thank you so much for inviting me to be on this call. It truly is an honor. I mean, I am humbled to be able to talk to the ladies on this Zoom and to share with my friend Bettye Bridges. Bettye, I miss seeing you.
I miss you
And I don't know when we're going to get together, but it's got to be soon. I'm willing to, maybe I'll come and visit you one day. You never know.
Thank you.
Let's make that happen.
Okay.
And Sonia Mason, oh my God, Sonia, I must say, you absolutely look fabulous.
Yes, she does.
I call Sonia Miss the Tina Turner of Mary Kay. And so it's so great to be on with sharing with all of you today. And Candy, thank you for those kind words. When I listen to my national song, it makes me want to dance. It makes me want to cry because those words were so appropriate back then. And it's even more so now because the world is in such a turmoil right now. But God knows there's going to be a revelation. So we need to stay hopeful and continue to hold on to our faith. Well, today, talking about leadership, when my accolade is being read, it sounds huge. It's so much, that I did. But the credit really does not go to me. I truly had an awesome team that I loved and I believed in. And how appropriate this Zoom is today about leadership. Lessons in leadership. I had a lot to learn. And as far back as when I was a consultant, I remember that I submitted for the IQ with 20. And back in the day, you only needed 15. And I became so full of myself. And I thought I could do this. It was all about me. And I got all the way to my final month and didn't make it. And it was God's way of humbling me and teaching me that I needed to believe and continue to work with the people that he had placed in my space. And lessons that I learned from that is, A, don't be full of yourself. Get out of your own way and learn to not only love the people that you work with, but believe in them. Also, continue working on your own personal activities. You see, I had stepped away from doing my personal work and was only focusing on giving orders. As a DIQ, instead of being a leader, I was getting into the role of becoming a manager, just telling people what to do. And leadership is not about telling people what to do, it's about showing people what to do. That means you need to be in the field, you need to be in the field with them And for some reason, I had stepped away from that because I was all about, I'm going to be a director. Well, boy, was that a humbling experience. And from that time on, I learned that for me to succeed, I need to always be out front, leading the people by showing them what they can do, what they should do, and how to get things done. I also learned in that from that experience that leadership is not about having self-pity. Yes, I felt sad. Yes, I didn't feel good about myself failing, but failure is not fatal, nor is it ever final. And what I learned to do is that what leadership is about is getting up and getting back in the game. And from that experience, I have been able to overcome so many other situations in my during my career. Not just at that point. I mean, I can share this with you. 1996, working to do my first million, I faced one of the greatest challenges anyone could face in this company. On the 5th of June, 1996. I could have gone to bed, pulled the blanket over my head, and cried myself until June 30th. But leadership is not about doing that. It's about standing in front of the mirror and taking full responsibilities for what was happening around me and making a decision to go forward. So, what did I do? I cried. Yes, I cried. I was sad. I felt betrayed. But that was not going to get me to that $1 million goal. And so I went back to work. I got up and I got back in the game. And we were able to complete the million, not on the 30th, but on the 13th of June. So what did I learn from that? If it's to be, it's up to me. And so when you have a goal to be a leader, and this is for the Red Jackets, when you have a goal to become a leader in Mary Kay, because right now you are a leader in the making. And for the directors who are already in the position, you are the people that the consultants are looking at. So that you cannot walk away. You cannot feel sad. You cannot go to that place of your emotions. We all have emotions. Let's be real. Yes, and especially females. Boy, do we know how to use our emotions.
Yes.
Thing is, we have got to learn that you never allow your emotions to override your intelligence. So we learn to make intelligent decisions. Sometimes it's painful. And I've walked those walks before where I just wanted to throw up my hands and give up. But that's not leadership. Leadership is feeling the emotions, but not doing the actions. And that's something I had to learn. Leadership is also about not about bossing people around or threatening them, but making sure that they understand the goal. When you set a goal as a leader, everyone is not going to be willing to play by the rules of your rules. But it's understandable. Everyone is different. And if you understand that there is no one else on this earth like you, every human being is truly unique. When the Lord created each of us, He threw the mold away. There isn't another person like you. So if your expectation is that the people you're leading should be more like you, you're going to be severely disappointed. There is only one you, and that's why you're unique. But what you learn to do as a leader is you learn to embrace everyone and meet them in their own uniqueness. And yes, disappointments you're going to have. That is something that, as in direct sales, you're faced with every single day. People are going to make promises, but not deliver on those promises. The thing is numbers, and Bettye touched on that. I truly believe that if you are working as in direct sales, you need to pay attention to your numbers. At the peak of my unit, when I completed 2.3 million, my unit size was 447. 447. Yes, the goal was to have 500 people. We missed it by 53. But look at the things that we did from 447. It also took me 3 years to work on that 2 million. Leadership is about staying in the game. Even when you fail, is understanding that when you're working on a goal, if you don't hit the goal the first year, well, you go again. You don't walk away from it. I remember 99, we set the goal for 2 million. We ended up with 1,000,008. But we increased by 300,000 because 98, we had done 1,000,005. So imagine setting a goal in 98 to go from 1,000,005 to 2 million. That would have been an increase of 500,000. That's what's being talked about, being bold. Well, leadership is about being bold, setting bold goals, goals that make you choke. And yes, when we got to 1,000,008, I was disappointed, but I was also realistic. I knew when I set that goal that there was a possibility we were not going to hit the 2 million because it was such a humongous goal. I also knew we didn't have the people. And I was smart enough to understand that I would have to build, to get to that 2 million. Well, the next year, we reset the goal. We ended up with 1,850,000. That was not a huge increase, but I'll share something with you. It taught me a valuable lesson. It taught me that, okay, go back to the drawing board. If you can move the needle to 1,850,000, then it's doable. 2 million is doable. So the next year, we reset the goal and reorganized, completed the 2 million on the 8th of June. We did not work until the 30th. Don't set goals and work until the end of the month or the end of the year. When you set goals, you want to always work with a sense of urgency. Now, this month carries 30 days. That does not mean you work the last week or the last day. I've heard these horror stories of people trying to work to close the month the last day of the month. I never worked to close my month on the last day of the month. I was closing my month from the first day of the month, because if you work to close on the last day of the month, you are always going to be disappointed because there's only so much you can do within 24 hours. But think about it. Walmart or Macy's, they don't set a goal to do $10 million in sales at the ending of the month. The goal is set the first day of the month of how much sales, what the revenue they want to come in. And whatever they finish up with, trust me, they were very strategic and organized in how that was going to happen. Leadership is about organizing your thoughts, having a plan of action. And yes, sometimes you got to go back and, reorganize things. Sometimes you got to go back and shift things around, tweak things around. And that's okay. I've had to do that so many times. The one thing you cannot tweak and organize are human beings. But actions, yes. Plans, yes. Human beings are going to do whatever they want to do, however they want to do it. However, when you have numbers to work with, it's going to be easier for you, a simpler process if you are working with larger numbers. And I say that to you, understanding that a lot of times people say to me, well, what happens if you have a small team? Well, I once had a small team. I debuted with 40 people, and then I grew that team to 447. Well, what's the difference? Everyone starts this business with a small team. As a matter of fact, everyone that joined Mary Kay, you start with one person, that's you. So you grow from you to 3 and you earn your red jacket, and then to 5 and you become a team leader, and then to directorship. And you have a unit to work with, a unit of women to work with, but you don't stay there. No, you want to continue to increase your numbers massively. And I say massively because I truly believe that anything when you're working with small numbers, it equates to failure. It's stressful. I have never been stressed one day in the 30-something years that I work my Mary Kay business. I've enjoyed every step of the journey. I've laughed, I've cried. Yes, I've cried when I became disappointed, never frustrated, because frustration is a luxury I could not afford. So disappointment, yes, I've been disappointed several times, but I've never been frustrated. In those moments, yes, I shed a tear or two. And I didn't shed a tear because of the person. I shed a tear because of me. How did I not see this coming? What did I not understand? I always took personal responsibility for every failure that happened during my work life in Mary Kay. I've never blamed any of my team members, not a consultant, not a director, not my leader. I would stand in front of the mirror and I would say, okay, Vernella, what did you not do? What did you not understand? How could you allow this to happen? When you are willing to take personal responsibility for your success and also for your failure, that makes you achieve massively in your life. Because the bottom line is, if it's to be, it's up to you. And I've always understood that. Another thing I learned with leadership is passion. Be passionate about your business. Fall in love with what you're doing. Love what you're doing. Even on the days that were not good days, I've never fallen out of love with my business. As a consultant, I love being a consultant. As a director, I love being a director. As a national, I love being a national. When you fall in love with what you are doing, disappointments will not overcome you. And the thing about it, when you fall in love, you'll have a fire in you that drives you all the time. People say to me, when you talk with Mary Kay, even though you're retired, you're so excited. That's because I still think Mary Kay is the best opportunity in this land. It's the best opportunity in the world. If I could come back in another life, I would absolutely sign another Mary Kay agreement. That's how passionate I am about Mary Kay. That's how much I'm still in love with this business. Another thing leaders are constantly doing, they're constantly working to improve themselves. They accept criticism. Don't be so quick to get angry when you're being criticized. Sometimes the criticism is not constructive. I don't care if it's constructive. If someone criticizes my action, they're not criticizing me, the person. It's my action. So I'm always working to correct whatever that they're criticizing. When you are willing to not take it so personal and be so angry, people quit because they're angry. Someone said something to them that, they didn't think it was fair. God knows. So many things have been said to me or about me that was not fair. Those were the thoughts of other people. It was not my reality. Another thing I learned, be responsible for you. Be responsible for you. If you know who you are and you know what you are about, then what people say outside of you will not affect you because you know the truth. Who are you? When you stand in front of the mirror, who are you? You're facing that person that only you can face in truth. And so that's another thing I learned. Leaders make their own decisions. So many times people fail in Mary Kay because they're listening to outside voices. Vernella Benjamin listened only to Vernella Benjamin. That's not to say that I wasn't willing to listen to counseling coming from others, but the ultimate decision was always mine. And if you are not willing to make your own decisions, then you'll be like a ship on the ocean without a port of call because everyone is going to pour into you. In Mary Kay, there are 3-point-something million people. That means 3-point-something million ways to build this business. But the ultimate decision must be yours. When you make a decision, stick with it because only you know you. Only you know your situation. Only you know your strength, and only you know your weaknesses. So don't allow other people to design your life and your world. Another lesson I learned of leadership is be determined. Be determined. When a person tells you you can't, laugh. When I was going for that $1 million, I was told, and I'm not going to call names, but I was told it has never been done. As a matter of fact, I was told that someone like me could never produce $1 million unit in the state of New York because our people don't think that big. I laughed. I had a good laugh because my thoughts were, well, what makes our people different? If others can do 1 million, then so can we. But how many people believe what they were told? You know, it is said the greatest singer we will never hear because someone told them they couldn't sing. And they believed it. But you must believe in yourself and understand that because someone say you cannot do something does not make it facts. And so you prove them wrong. Leadership is about proving others wrong. I worked this business with purpose, passion, humility, and total determination. And whenever I was told something couldn't be done, it just made me go back to the drawing board, reorganize my thoughts, and put another plan in place. Because I was, I was going to show that person or the whatever group said it. I always say, watch me. Okay? Leadership is about being determined. Leadership is about being uncomfortable. I was always uncomfortable. When you read my accolade, you think I was comfortable. No. When you want to create massive success, you want to always be uncomfortable. Because when you become comfortable, you become complacent. And so being uncomfortable meant that I would always succeed massively because I wanted to always excel whatever I did the month before, the year before. I wanted to excel and surpass that. So I chose to remain uncomfortable. So many times we see people who can do really well, but they achieve a small goal and they become comfortable, a superstar. Leadership is not about being a superstar. Leadership is about understanding that God is using you in a way that is to help his people. And I always understood that I was being used to help his people. And therefore, I needed to understand that I'm not a superstar. I'm always a work in progress, always working to be better, always working to be greater, never getting to a place of being, I have arrived. I've seen that so many times where a person have a good year and they never repeat it because they become so arrogant and so cocky because they feel they have arrived. But no, one of the things that I learned about leadership is be humble. Never look down on others because you are being elevated for the work that you do. Never feel that you're better than others because you're being celebrated for the work that you're doing. Always understand that when you're being celebrated, and bring others into your light because you want to pass it on. You want to share it. And that's something that I've always strived to do. I've always included others in my life to say, see, I am not better than you. You can be like me. As a matter of fact, you can be better than me. You can do so much more by just learning from what I'm doing. And so leadership is about humility, always understanding that humility will get you more than arrogance. And so, another lesson I learned from leadership is your leadership should be used to inspire others. Yes, leadership is about influence, but don't allow your influence to blind you to the fact that when you are successful, your success should also inspire others. I always want to be an inspiration to others. When people walk up to me and say, "Oh my God, I am so in awe of you," I tell them, I said, "I want you to say, I'm so inspired by you." Because if a person is so in awe of me, it will make them feel that they can never be like me. And I always correct them and say, "You don't ever want to be like me because God created you in your own light. But I want what I've done to inspire you so that you can become your own superstar. You can be better than me. You can be you can achieve more than I've done in this company by being inspired by my success." And so I don't know about my time. I think I'm almost finished. But I want to say in closing, Candy, how am I in time?
You have about 5 minutes, but I want you to share two things. I'm not sure if it's in your notes or not, but I want you to share where you were that January where you made a decision that you was going to become a national that year. That's crucial. And then also at what it was called Sisters of Success in Baltimore, you said something to the crowd that inspired me to become a national when you told us about what our ancestors, were not happy with where we were. So I want you to touch on those two things, where you were that January before you became a national and how you built that national in a couple of months. That's crucial right now because we need these directors to build leaders of where you were. They don't understand that you got to build it until you need it. And that's where you were. You built it until you needed it. And then also, I want you to charge us what you charged us back in 2000 something. That charge went to my heart from our ancestors. You telling me that our ancestors needed us.
Thank you. There are two Januaries that are significant in that I want to share about. January of 1995, I attended leadership conference as I would say not a broken director, but a disappointed director. I had completed $500,000 twice and 450. So when I attended January leadership conference, I felt there's got to be something I'm doing wrong, and I had 170 something thousand retail in the computer. And something was said from the stage. The national who spoke, she said that every director in the audience were leading teams that can excel. And it was not that the people that were leading didn't want to do the work, is that we were making the mistake of trying to lead everyone in the same direction. And I'd never heard that before. Now I had heard before that, you need to divide your unit and work with the people that are working. But what she said made a lot of sense. She said, when you go home, look at your report. And if you have a unit size of 30, select 5, 40, select 8, 50, select 10, 75, select 15, 100, select 25. I came home from leadership conference and I had a unit of over 100 and I selected 24. I sat with those 24 people and I asked the questions, asked them each the same question, the same exact question I asked each of them. And from that group, by March, we had 11 people on target for the quarter sales, 5 people on target for cars. We closed the year in June 30th with 911,011 quarter sales consultants, 5 brand new car drivers. Now, I share that for the directors to understand the importance of leadership conference. Had I not attended leadership conference in 95, I would still have ended up with a $500,000 unit. But you can ask questions on that later. January of 2002, National Sales Director Connie Phillips, God rest her soul, invited me to attend, to be a guest speaker at her January Jumpstart. And while I was there, she asked me, Vernella, what are you doing about becoming a national? And I said, oh, working on it, working on it. Like, directors always say, or consult, oh, working on it, getting it together. It's not I didn't have a goal to become a national. I had the people, but I was kind of like, okay, it's going to get done. It's going to happen. And I remember what she said to me, Vernella, stop working on it and get it done. And I loved Connie Phillips. I just always loved her. She was such a classy lady, soft spoken. But when she was talking to me, I saw fire in her eyes, and I felt the seriousness of her words. So she was not being that loving person that I adore. She was talking to me not only as a leader, but as a mother. She said, stop working it and get it done. I came home and I thought, okay, this is January. It means we have to be in NIQ by July 1. Okay, how are we going to do this? Well, I decided, again, I was going to meet with some of my red jackets. So I got 20-something red jackets together. As a matter of fact, it was exactly, I think it was 22 of them that I invited to a meeting. And we sat down and I told them that I had made a decision. Leadership is about making a decision. Your people will follow. And I said, I've made a decision to become a national sales director. And you must decide who is going to be your director. And they all look at me as if I'd gone mad. You have made a decision to become a national sales director, and we must decide who is going to be our director. And I said that. And I left the meeting and jumped in my car and came home. Now, I did not complete the meeting. I made the statement, and then I left the meeting, jumped in my car, and came home. My phone started ringing. They were calling. And this was on the 23rd of February, and March 5th, we had 19 DIQs.
Wow.
Yeah, that meeting was on the 23rd of February. And on March 5th, we had 19 DIQs. And dare I say that all 19 DIQs some were in cars already or on target for cars. And each of those teams, they had 5,000 or more in production, because I don't play that. We're not playing games. By June 30th, we were ready to submit for NIQ. So July 1, we submitted for NIQ. Yes. Leadership is about making decisions. It's about making tough calls and understand that everyone's not going to follow you. And that's okay. Because from 19 DIQs, one person didn't make it. We had 18 new directors by June 30th. As a matter of fact, 2 completed by April 30th, and another 2 by May 31st, and the rest completed. So we were in NIQ. Leadership is about making a decision, guys. Decide. Sometimes it may seem impossible, but this is where your faith comes in. When I made that statement, I knew that it could go south. But I serve a mighty God, and I prayed before I left my home. And I said, God, I don't know what to say to these people, and I don't know what to do. And I followed his direction. He said, this is what I want to do. You go in that room and speak the words that I put in your heart and leave it out there. So I didn't make any plans and all these second, telling them what to do. No, I just spoke the words and I got out of their way. To cover what Candy talked about a couple of years ago, I am big on that. Many of you may not know this about me. I'm a history buff. And I truly believe that when it comes to our people, I always think that a lot of wrong was done to us, but I also believe in us. I think that there isn't anything on this world, on this earth, that we as a people cannot do. I firmly believe that. I will go to my grave believing that we are a very strong and powerful people. The things that we had to survive, that our ancestors had to survive for us to still be here, it tells you of the strength of a people. And so it pains me a lot when I see that we are not the modern day version of who we have become is so far removed sometimes from remembering the strength and fortitude of our people. They took so much abuse. If you think about it, when you read about it, you cry. I read and I cry, I get angry. And then I say, we can do better. They could not vote. They could not have businesses. They worked in the hot sun all day with a whip on their backs. They didn't have a voice. We are their voice. We are their voices. And how dare us? I've always said to my people, and I know that the strength of my team was because I would stand before them and say, how dare us not appreciate the opportunities that we have today that they never got? How dare us be disrespectful of the sacrifices they made? How dare us not appreciate that the fact that they died, their blood was shed for us? And how dare us take it for granted today that we have opportunities now to make money? They didn't have it. We can have opportunities to get jobs, education. They didn't have any of that. And how dare us not appreciate all of those sacrifices? And what do you think their spirits are saying right now? How do you think their spirit are resting right now? Do you know? I truly believe that if our ancestors can come back and see the mess that so many of us have made, when we decide we're not going to do something because we don't feel good about it or we don't like somebody, we're not going to vote because we don't like the candidate. How dare us? We're not going to be supportive because we don't like. They didn't have the luxury of any such feelings. They did what they were told. And I truly believe that the spirits of our ancestors are not resting right now. They are in great unease because we have truly made a mess of so much of the struggle that they fought for. And those were my words that Candy heard years ago when I said, how dare us? How dare us not appreciate their struggle and want to excel for them? Every time I stood on the stage as the queen in Mary Kay, I gave thanks to my ancestors because they didn't have the opportunity. Every time I was being celebrated, I paid honor to my ancestors for they didn't have the opportunity. And every night before I go to bed, I give thanks to them. I get to lie in a warm bed, in a warm home. They were being whipped in the field. And how dare me not appreciate and be grateful for everything I have and for all the things that I'm able to do today in honor of what they never got. I am so grateful. And so this would be my words to you. Be grateful to our ancestors and strive to be better because you honor their struggle.
Ooh.
Yes.
Wow.
Nor the day I say, oh, this will be a revelation. Oh, this will be war. Oh, Lord, oh, this will be a revelation. Oh, this will be war. Color is not the problem. It is the heart and mind of men.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I felt it. I felt it like I felt it that time you said it for the first
Mhm.
time. And even though I was there as a top director, maybe even $1 million sales director, I felt that I didn't do enough. And
Mhm.
I made that decision back then that I was going to give it my best to make sure that in spite of everything else, that I was going to win for them, to
Yes,
give them the voice, like you said, that they didn't have,
didn't
to
have.
honor their struggle. So
Yep.
I just want to say thank you. Oh my goodness, you and National Betty were here for the right time at the right moment, just to hear the two of you, legacy leaders, to share with us, lessons in leadership, but also just to know that y'all seen some things in Mary Kay, and y'all still you rose, and still you have revelations of the songs depicts everything of who you are. So I will open it up for
Can I go,
any.
National Candy? Can you hear
Go
me,
ahead,
Keita?
go ahead, Keita.
Oh my goodness. So I first just want to say one thank you, Big Sister National Candy, for bringing these awesome, amazing legacy leaders on. Thank you, National Emeritus Betty Bridges, for early on in my career, allowing me to give birth to people who are still in my area and my unit in Detroit. And when I think about my first top director's trip, oh my gosh, who was there? National Emeritus Sonia Hunter Mason. And we were in the suite the year that Big Sister, Auntie, National Sales Director Emeritus Vernella Benjamin did her 2.3 million. She taught me how to shut up, don't ask, observe, be quiet. And really, I mean, we can count the days and hours that Candy, Ann, and I would be up late strategizing. And we knew that the only person that we could call, we felt like an all-American, no matter how big our dream was, how unbelievable it sounded, would say to us and answer the phone at midnight or 1 a.m. would be you. And not only that, how you really took the time and held my hand and my unit's hand to make that $1 million history in 2018. And then we did it. You stood up, you told me to go to bed, and you talked with my people. You showed them how they were gonna walk across that stage, since it had been 9 years since that generation didn't see how you and Candy, didn't see how you walked across that stage. And to be able to do it in the Sapphire division, where you were the first person that I saw from afar and Candy saw from afar to be crowned. But to be able, the time that you invested, the seed that you invested, how you showed up in my mother's absence to just be there, how you showed my people when I got up that morning, saw them walk, and you like, this is how you're gonna walk, this is what you're gonna look like, this is how your makeup is gonna be, everything. My heart overflows in gratitude for the time that you have spent, the years that you have spent up close and personal, with me and my unit, and now my forming area. And so many of them are here today. So I love you so much. I don't want to cry, but I do remember, and I'm so glad Candy asked you to say that. I remember, I can still recall the chills and the emotion when you stood up. And I don't remember if I was the top director or not then at that particular SOS, but I remember I was like, I'm gonna get my gear in action, because you poured out that how dare we stand on your shoulders, on your back, and just look at you and your unit and your forming area and what you've done. Come on, you need us. And then God allowed me to find the torch, because that's what you did. That's what my mother did. That's what you've done, son. That's what you have done, Betty. And we passed the torch on to each one of you. So I love you all and appreciate you so much.
Love you,
Thank
National.
you for
We're
your
proud
passion
of
today.
you.
National Sonia.
Well, ladies, I have a few things to say. First of all, 350 people have stayed on this call, and they have been fed to capacity.
It's a blessing.
Candy, we're just coming off of career conference. And what a call to have right now for the next 3 months. My mother always said if you can January and February, you can march on through. So National Vernella and National Bettye, you've given the sales force the fuel from our perspective that they need to go march right on through. National Candy, you are the people's national. Thank you so much for having these two nationals on at a time like this. Please send out the recording, and my charge is for everybody to listen to this April, May, and June. It's going to give you what you need. It's going to give you the fuel to keep going. And to my friends, my shopaholic, Vernella Benjamin, and my voice of reason, Bettye Bridges, I love y'all with all of my heart. Thank you, Candy.
Thank you,
Love
National
you.
Sonia, for always being here. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, you don't know how much I miss them on these national trips. You don't know. You just don't know how much I miss them. Stacy Nelson.
Yes. Thank you. Really, thank you. Thank you, National Candy D. Lewis, because you're always obedient. And because of that, you have the right those to share with us at an appointed time. I want to thank National Vernella and Bettye. What you shared was a great leadership lesson, and that we do need to continue to go back to, refer back to over and over and over again. That is like our guide. You know, the things that you shared were true back then, and they're true now. There's no new way of doing Mary Kay. This is the way. And we are all where we are because of our commitment level to our businesses, the promises, all of that. So I just want to thank you. I mean, this was just amazing. Thank you for your leadership, and just to see the passion. There are not many people that leave a company or retire from a company that are still just as excited and passionate. So I think all of us need to be grateful that we were even invited in to be a part of Mary Kay. So I just want to thank you all so much.
Thank you, Stacy. Nancy.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. First, I want to say to you, National Candy, you are definitely the people's national. You are. I don't know what we would do without you, where we would all be, because I can promise you it would be a scattered mess. And I want y'all to know beyond the shadow of a doubt is grateful. Heart is grateful. Vernella, we were there the entire time. And I'm telling you, you were a giant at our seminars. I mean, when I say a giant, a giant, and you were totally admired every step that you took, every step of grace that you took. And you always beckoned us to do more and to be more. And this century that you shared with us then, that you so passionately share with us now, has got more irritating, because it is so true, the things that we take for granted. Thank you for reminding us of who we are as a people, because there's no one bigger, better, stronger who have gone through as much as we have and survived. Now, thank you so much. I love you. I admire you. National Sonia, you already know. Grand Nat, you already know. My heart today is grateful. I am grateful. I am grateful that I got on this call. I am grateful that there was a call, because I'm so grateful.
Amen.
Thank you all so much.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lisa, your camera's not on, but you can speak. Lisa Charity.
Thank you so much. I did not want to miss this, y'all. I'm on my way from physical therapy, so I'm in the car driving. But I first want to thank you, National Candy, for always bringing us together. We needed this. I just got the first opportunity to meet National Bettye at Chrisette's National Chrisette's retirement. And I fell in love with you then when we took our picture matching in our leopard outfits that day. And so I just listened to you because I've never met Mary Kay Ash. And so for me, you guys are my Mary Kay. So I'm greatly, greatly appreciative of you. And then, of course, National Vernella Benjamin, you were my first Mary Kay. Growing up in Brooklyn, New York, being with Andrea Caldwell in my first Mary Kay, life, going to see you debut at Madison Square Garden. That blew my mind. Oh my goodness. Being able to sit at your feet from afar, all the career conferences, and then coming back full circle and you just pouring in to us today. I needed to hear every single thing that you said to us. And I'm so very, very grateful for you guys going before us. And I am committed more than ever to just do what we need to do, cross this line as a debuting national this year, 2025. It is happening because we owe it. We owe it to those who went before us, and we owe it to ourselves. So I thank you guys, and I love you so much.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. Stephanie Bowen.
Grateful is the word. Thank you, National Candy. Oh my gosh. I mean, when I say grateful, I am where I am because of what you started for us in the pandemic. And I am so grateful that I would want to come back and share with such passion and want us to know the stories. I mean, I learned from you, Bettye, today about the STAR program that I never had heard that story about National Emeritus Ruel Cone. And Bettye, I remember I had the pleasure of escorting you as National Sonia's debut of taking you to the airport. And just that time in the car, the wisdom that you gave me has continued to serve me well. You had told me to find a place that was free to no cost to have facials. And that turned into my Thursday Pretty Girls Rock. I did at little Madeline's Cafe. And then in the pandemic, it turned into Girls Night In, and it is still going like a rocket right now. So I am always grateful for that moment in time that we had together in the car, that you gave me that wisdom. And to National Emeritus Vernella, I have always been inspired by you. I was also going to say but inspired by you from afar. And I too got to go. I came from Georgia and all the way to New York City. I remember I started in New Jersey. I landed in New Jersey, what airport that is, and had my godmother there in Newark. And my mother flew in with me, and my sister. We made it a thing to come to your debut at that moment in time, and the power that you continue to exude from the stage. I was there to hear that story that you gave of How Dare Us. So thank you for reminding us to remember our ancestors and from whence we have come, that we are truly strong and powerful. So thank you both for continuing to want to share and pour into us. I appreciate you.
God bless you. We love you.
It's Stephanie. And then Joanne, and then we're going to take anyone from their areas. Terry, I see you. Kathleen, if you're there, you're next. I would love to hear from some of the directors in their areas as well. Go ahead, Joanne.
Thank you so much, National Candy. I'm so honored. That's the word that I feel today. I'm so honored.
Is something wrong, Erica Royal? Is something wrong with Andre?
Okay, someone's speaking. Can you mute yourself? 1 second. Go ahead.
So the word that comes to my spirit, my heart is just honored. It's a blessing to be in the room with women who have led the way. And National Candy, giant.
Jason.
1 second.
Okay, I'm ready to go. What are you doing?
Okay, Dot. Okay. Some of you are not muted, guys. Please unmute. Please make sure you're muted. Go ahead. I'm so sorry, Joanne.
That's okay. That's okay, National. So, we're all here together. And, you always talk, National, about having a spot in the room, a place at the table. And listen, this is the best table ever. because we earned the right to be in this Zoom room, right? To hear from these goddesses and these queens in our industry, the paths that you have laid, the work that you have done. We honor you so much. Thank you, National Candy, for your foresight of what we need. Thank you for National Candy for your foresight. God continued to use you to bless us, to lift us. And National Bettye, I have not heard you. I have not been, you know, I'm a West Coast girl, and most times nationals didn't come to the West side of the country. And so, but I am so proud to have sat at your feet today to listen, to hear what you have brought to the table and just the legacy. And then National Vernella, when I started Mary Kay, you were on the pamphlet of recruiting. And I bought so many of those things to build my unit. And because of you, not even knowing me, you're one of the reasons why I am still here today. And so your message is far reaching. Your spirit is amazing. And I've seen you, been with you, and I honor all that you have done for this company and your toughness. You know, y'all have to be tough to lead people. And you've shown us that you can be tough, but you can be loving. You can be tough, but you can be loving. And more importantly, that God is always in control. So thank y'all for being here today. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your pour. I am beyond honored to just even have a seat in this Zoom room. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Joanne. Terry Lewis, are you there? Or anyone else from their areas? Open up your mic.
No, yes. Kathleen.
Go ahead, Kathleen.
Oh my goodness. What a great day. This is the day we say the Lord has made. Yes, yes, yes. First thing and foremost, I want to say thank you, National Candy, for always bringing us the best. Yes, every month, the best and the best. Well, what can I say? We have been fed, we have been filled, our cups is overflowing. National Bettye Bridges, I just want to say a special thank you. You really shared you showed some great nuggets this morning about leadership. It is truly influence. You know, you said wisdom is doing what you know to do. A lot of times we have so much information, we know what to do, but yet still we don't do what we're supposed to do. So thank you for that. And to my Emeriti, yes, looking beautiful and gorgeous as always. Yes, youthful. Vernella P. Benjamin, you have taught me this business. I am the leader that I am today because of you, because of the things that you have taught me. And the race is not for the swift, but I am here and I am coming. And I am grateful, National, for everything that you have poured into me for these, oh my goodness, what it was, 15 years. And I would not have chosen any other leader because of the lessons that I've learned that you have taught me, that have kept me and sustained me, that I'm getting ready now that to move to my next and the best years that are ahead of me. And that's because of you. And I want to say thank you from a grateful heart. I love you, ladies. Thank you so much, National Candy. You know, LOC truly has helped my growth as well for the past couple of years. So thank you, appreciate you. And, you know, I will always remember this, you know, what you sow is what you're going to reap. So let us keep on soaring so that we will reap the harvest as great leaders. Thank you so much.
That's so
Thank
sweet.
you, Kathleen. Yes, yes. Anyone else from their areas before they give their closing remarks? I mean, you gave it all. I don't think we have any Q&A. They don't need no Q&A. They just got to get to work, as Joe guys said.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Doreen Wallace. Yes,
Doreen,
I'm so happy to be on this call this morning. Thank you so much, my NSD, Vernella Benjamin. Yes, she's my personal recruiter. Yes, and I thank you so much. And, you know, what you are installed in me, I am using it today. Never stop, never stop. It might not be the way it ought to be, but I'm still working on everything that you taught me. Yes, I was with you all through your journey as you share with everyone. I could feel it. when you were speaking about what you have been through, because I was there. I was at your beck and call throughout all this journey. And I thank you so much for what you have done in my life. You might not hear from me frequently, but I still love you. I still think of what the things that you share, and I'm using it. National Bettye, thank you so much again for your inspiration, your knowledge that you pour out this morning. You know, if each and every one of us receive a bit of what each the national taught us, we'll be in a better place tomorrow. Thank you so much again. And National Candy, wow, what can I say? You are a gem. You are a gem. Thanking you that my national lead me in your hands. And I'm just walking the walk. As I say, you might not hear from me too often, but I'm listening and I'm doing what I'm ought to do. And I know this month was my greatest month. And I'm thanking you so much because when I look at everything that I was taught, I says, no, something has to change. I came from a #1 year area and we do great things. So why not? Why not go and reflect and make things happen? So thank you again, Nationals. Thank you so much as I continue walking the ladder of success with the inspiration that you have poured out on me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Doreen.
You.
Okay, we do have one question, National Vernella. Someone's asking, you know, when you got those group of people together, what was the questions you asked them?
There were 5 questions I asked. Question number 1, and I'm glad you asked that question. 5 questions. Question number 1 was, why did you start a Mary Kay business? Why did you make the decision to start a Mary Kay business? And the reason she said you need to ask that question was people start a Mary Kay business for a couple of reasons. They're excited. They attend an event and they see the diamonds and the cars in the parking lot and they get excited and they sign the agreement. But they don't realize that the person driving that car wearing the diamonds had to work. So it's all about excitement. And so this question number 2 was, what is it you want from your Mary Kay business? And the national who spoke, she also said that why it was important to ask that question, because people sign the agreement, but they don't know what they want. You know, the recruiters say, oh, you could get this, you can get that, but what does she want? Right. And so what did that person individually want? And question number 3, how soon did they want it? Because, I could want the world, but when do I want it? How soon do I want it? And question number 4 is, what were they willing to do to get the things they said they wanted? If somebody said they needed money, they want money. What do you want to do to get the money?
Right.
And prior to that, I had never asked any of those questions before, because I was just telling people what's available to them in Mary Kay, but not asking questions. And then the last question was, how coachable are you? If I promise to teach you everything I know, how coachable are you? How willing are you to learn? Those were the 5 questions. As a matter of fact, that national just passed away in January when I got the information. I just, yeah. I was so grateful because I heard many different ways of working with consultants, but those 5 specific questions I'd never heard. And at leadership conference, when she was very clear and gave those specific questions, I was totally in awe, and I thought, wow, why didn't somebody teach me this before? But you know what? When the student is ready, the teacher appears. So I've never regretted anything that I was taught prior to that, but I've always been appreciative of that leadership conference in '95, of hearing those 5 questions, because what it taught me to do is to come home and select those 24 consultants and sit with them and ask only those 5 questions. Each consultant had to answer those 5 specific questions. And I'll tell you this, in 2025, all of those 24 people they had different reasons why they started Mary Kay. No two consultants said they wanted the same thing. Some people wanted to save for college funds. Some people wanted to buy a home. Some people wanted to move into a new apartment. Some people want to quit a job. So, some people want to change relationship and if they could make enough money. So it was so many things that I was sitting there taking notes. And it taught me something that we are all different in so many ways. Each of us, our life situation is not the same. And that also taught me to listen to people. So that became my mantra. Whenever, from that day on, whenever a new person signed an agreement, I would always call and say, schedule a 1 hour getting to know you session with them, 1 hour. So every new consultant from that January of 1995, I always made a call. Hi, even if I recruited them, once they came into my organization, I would make the call and say, hi, I need to schedule a 1 hour getting to know you session. Just let me know what's a good time for you. And I'll tell you, the strength of my organization came from that. The strength of my organization. Because by taking the time to have that one-on-one, getting to know you with the new people, it helped me to have a better understanding of the difference between people's want and their needs. Some people wanted something, but they weren't going to be willing to work for it. And some people needed something. And the people that went on to succeed in the business were the people who had a need, not a want, and was willing to work to fill those needs. And I'm telling you, it was the power of my organization. So I left, when I saw she passed in January, I said, may she rest in peace, because what I became in Mary Kay was because of that class with at National.
Awesome. Okay, we had one more person that wanted to share something. Ann, can you unmute yourself?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh my God. I am, y'all want to be here another 30 minutes? I know, I'm just teasing, I won't. How amazing, as I look at both of you. And where's Sonia? Girl, you look good. I am so grateful to my friend Candy D, National Candy D, for always keeping your ear to God's mouth, because he always directs you to what we need and to who we need. National Emeritus Bettye, man, do you look good too. Thank you for offering us the shoulders that we were to stand on. Thank you. Thank you. Sometimes I know those shoulders have gotten pretty heavy, but you offered us the shoulder to stand on. And we should never take these women and their experience and their knowledge and their teaching for granted. So thank you. I appreciate you. I didn't get to know you as well, as I came up through the ranks, but I know what it must take to get to where you have. So thank you. And thank you for continuing to offer yourself and your time to the women that are coming behind us.
Always.
And OMG, I don't even know what to say about National Vernella P. Benjamin. One of the things that's so important is for consultants and directors to realize, and I always tell my consultants this, the teacher, you should always be better than the teacher. Because you take what she knows and you add to that, so we should always be better than the teacher. And I'm talking about the red jackets. You have no idea how blessed you are to be sitting at the feet of women who have paved the way for you. They are passing the torch for you. And my heart listening to our ancestors, talking the story about the ancestors, they didn't have the opportunity that we have. I talk about that all the time. I mean, I think about my mom, oldest of 13 children, had very little education, but she didn't have an opportunity that I've had. So what I've done in Mary Kay and what I'll always aspire to do is to be an inspiration to them, that I've taken what they've given me and become what they could not be. And so that is so important. You've got to move forward, because we got to pass the torch to somebody, to other people. And the other thing is that when you work this business the way you do, you will be like me, getting to meet Vernella P. Benjamin on my first top directors trip, and to be embraced by her, and to have been trained by her, and her friendship and her love. That's what you get. You can't get that other places. These are the women we identify with. And I'm telling you guys, you got to work to get there. People like them are not going to embrace you into their circle, because you become like the people you hang around. And so I appreciate you, Vernella. I'm sorry, National Vernella. Thank you so much for all that you've done in my life. You have made such a difference in my life. Thank you 1,000 times. Thank you. That's all I'm gonna say right now.
You're welcome.
Awesome. It's always great, guys, to make sure you give, people that you love, people that you admire, people, that have inspired you, give them their flowers now. And I think bringing the Emeriti back, giving them their flowers now, so let's just let you know that even though you guys are retired, we still need your voice, we still need your wisdom, and you're so respected and you're so loved. And I just believe that we got to give you your flowers. So in closing, Bettye, I'm gonna go to you first. Any words you would like to share with everyone? And anyone that didn't get all the questions from National Vernella, you just got to listen to the recording, because you'll get the recording. But go ahead, National.
Well, thank you so much, Candy. First of all, I want to just say that to everyone on this line, I pray that you know the jewel that you have in National Candy Lewis. I call her National Queen, like I always call Vernella, because they were queens when I first met them. But I will say in closing, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. From today's leadership lessons, takes one thing and make a move to be a better you. Thank you so much, Candy.
Awesome. National Vernella.
Candy, I want to say, may God's favor always be on you, because I'm telling you, when you started LOC, I truly was grateful, because it was so needed. And when I see what you've done throughout the years of being the leader of the LOC organization, I'm so appreciative of the effort you make every day. And I know you may not feel that everyone understand your vision, but it's okay, because a leader with vision will never be 100% understood. But God is using you in a mighty way to help his people. And those of us who understand your vision, are so appreciative. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And for the consultants and directors on this Zoom today, this is April. And I used to call April Hump Month, because it's the month that if you can get over the hump, you are in the winnings. You are basically closer to the tape. This is the hump month. Whatever you did between July and March 31st, forget it. It's gone. This is the month where you can reset the goal, look at where you are, and become more strategic, reorganize your thoughts, and be more deliberate with your action. Because if it's to be right now, it's totally up to you. So this is the month that you got to make that hard turn. And I call it a hard turn. It's like driving on the road and you know you're in traffic and there's a vehicle approaching you and you got to make that hard turn. April is the month where you make that hard turn to hit that seminar stage. And so impossible is just a word. Nothing is impossible. I don't believe in it. So I'm saying to you, wherever you are right now, write the word impossible and draw a line through it, because everything is possible from here on. So keep going, keep working, stay focused, be disciplined, and don't allow anything or anyone to get in your way between now and June 30th. This is the month where you make the hard turn. It's decision time.
Wow, wow, wow. Okay, I'm gonna try to get this played, guys. Bear with me here. I'm so excited. Ooh, ooh.
You can't erase what was never yours to take. They wrote the stories, but left out the pain. Took what they wanted, but left us the blame. Built their empires, but buried our names. Now we rise, now we reclaim. I walk through fire, I carved the stone, held the weight, but still stood alone. They stole the rhythm, stole the sound, but every beat, every word is ours now. They sat on thrones we laid the ground for, took the credit while we worked more. But history bends, the truth don't fold, and what they buried we now uphold. I am the hands, I am the spine, I am the blueprint they claim is mine. Every brick, every bone, every fight, every tear, still we rise, still we're standing here. We built this, we wrote the song, we carried the weight, but they got it all wrong. Tried to erase, tried to deny, but now it's time to testify. We built this, we paved the way. They took the gold, but we made the flame. They want the shine, they want the crown, but the throne was ours before they sat down. They rewrite pages, but we own the past.
Yes.
You can't erase what.
That's powerful.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So appropriate. So appropriate.
Amazing, National. Amazing.
Just know who you are, my sisters. Just know who you are and the legacy that we have. And we've been saying this whole entire month, you know, boots on the ground. What does boots on the ground mean to me? It's not just in the fan, but it means that you got to get out there in the field. You got to get out there in the streets. You got to get out there and work your business, because we got to do this. I love that hard turn. I love that hard turn. I love that hard turn. You know, we need more of you to making sure that you represent. Do not miss your seminar moment.
Yes, that's
Do not
right.
miss your seminar moment, guys. And I'm just praying and believing that you are ready to win, right? You are ready to win. So let's go and make it happen. So I would like everyone to unmute yourselves and just to thank these nationals that came on, these Emeritus that came on, you know, and we're gonna always have our yes, yes.
Thank you,
Thank
National.
you.